like to call to order this meeting of the Finance Committee of the Peabody City Council. Present for the committee this evening, Councilors Gould, Gamache, Manning, Martin, Turco, and myself, Council McGinn, as chair. I believe all other councilors are present. We have 3 items on the agenda tonight. The mayor is going to present the first one, and he needs another moment. So if there's no objection, I'm going to take a couple things out of order. We're going to go to item B, transfer of funds. Seeing no objection, we're going to transfer funds south and west school roofs in an amount of $139,800. Mr. Gingras.
Thank you. A few months ago, about a month ago, we transferred $125,000 to go towards the design of these 2 roofs projects that are part of the MSBA accelerated repair program. And once we got the bids in for the designers and the project manager, it was a little bit more. So we're requesting a transfer from ARPA interest funds of $170,000 towards this typo on the building demolition. It's for the school roofs.
Thank you. Mr. Gingras, questions from the committee? Questions from other councilors? Seeing none, Councilor Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to transfer from ARPA funds interest account number 250-05900-34812-2021 in the amount of $139,800 transferred to South and West School Roofs, account number 300-000-35886-2025, again in the amount of $139,800. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Councilors, you heard the motion from Councilor Gould on the motion. Seeing none, roll call.
Councilors Turco.
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Gamache.
Yes.
Manning Martin.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
So now we're going to go back to item A, bond order, city capital project, $2,350,000. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, councilors. Hope everybody's doing well. Very happy to be with you this evening, bringing forward a bond order request for $2.35 million to shore up some of our city departments and make some investment I think is appropriate and warranted for our city. I'm going to just go down the items here and certainly available to answer any questions on any specific one. The first is on the Council on Aging, and I think a lot of you are familiar, or all of you are familiar with the Council on Aging project that we've been working towards for a couple of years now, and it's a project that is overdue and very much necessary, and we've been working with our outstanding Carolyn Wynn, Director of the Council on Aging, and her team. We did hire Lee Rowe Hill as the project manager, and they've been guiding us with our work, along with our Facilities Director, Jim Politano. The request tonight is for $1.285 million, which is a combination of $950,000 for the roof and $335,000 for a number of mechanical needs at the building. The project is approximately $2 million. We have received funding previously from Capital for some roof and some mechanicals, as well as a contribution that is being made by the Friends of the Council on Aging project to this as well. Again, happy to answer any questions and give more detail on that. Also moving forward today with a request for some vehicles for the Department of Public Services. They are 2 trucks, 1-ton trucks to assist in the Department of Public Services work. This is just an effort to continue to update the fleet as needed. There's a number of needs, and we've been trying to take them systematically and improve the fleet as we move along. Those 2 trucks approximately cost $125,000 for a combination, or for a total of $250,000. Combining that with the police department, I'm putting in a request today for 4 police cruisers, and that these will be cruisers for the department out on the city beats and necessary for our patrol. We do have Chief Griffin here, who's happy to speak to any of these requests as well. Ross Park, we're putting forward a request for $200,000, and this is project specific to Ross Park. I think all of you know the Adventures for Angels playground. That is at Ross Park at Siteni. It is the extremely active, busy park. It's a stopping point for our Peabody Independence Greenway, and there's also a number of very active sports fields, softball, Little League softball, that take place there. And I would venture to say it's probably our busiest park in the city of Peabody. The Adventures for Angels playground up front is in excellent condition still. It is great for the little kids, but the spot in the back, it's kind of divided into two areas. The wooden structures were in significant deterioration and were just unsafe to continue to operate there. We did remove those last year with the intention to put forward the new play structures this summer. And in fact, if everything goes well, we'll be installing those in June. I did want to present to you, Mr. Chairman. I think you've seen pictures. This has been funded by the Community Preservation Commission, gave forth an excellent donation of $250 to this effort, as well as there's been some private fundraising. A number of businesses and corporations have contributed as well to a separate fundraising effort for this project specifically. And Mr. Chairman, I just do have some pictures I wanted to present.
Yep. Move to receive.
Motion to receive.
Thank you, Councilor Turco. Mr. Mayor, just to clarify, the CPC authorized $250,000, not $250, just for...
Yes, that's an important distinction to make. $250,000 rather than $250. It was. So again, happy to answer any questions on that project. Another much-needed item for the city of Peabody, and I think all of us recognize that, and I'm sure we've all gotten calls. I know I have, and I imagine all of you have as well, for some stumps. We'd like to move forward with $80,000 to purchase a stump grinder for the forestry department, and there's a significant amount of work that needs to be done there. Very happy to move forward with that request. Also, I'm bringing forward a request for $200,000 for a cemetery expansion. We do have our superintendent, Connor Morgan, here today. He can certainly give more detail. But this is a project that I think is greatly necessary for Cedar Grove Cemetery to expand the opportunities that are available to us there. We are reaching near capacity at Cedar Grove currently, and we need to do some planning for the future, and part of that planning was the purchase we made a couple of years ago of significant acreage up behind Cedar Grove that may present some opportunities in the future. This area is called Area K1, and Mr. Chairman, I'd like to give a map of the area.
Move to receive.
You heard the motion from Councilor Turco. All in favor? Any opposed to the vote? We'll refer to that as late 3.
As you can see, this area located kind of in the back left of the cemetery. As you pull into Cedar Grove, you take the left, and that's where the office building is. Up behind that office building in that red shaded area would be the spot we're looking to expand. It would have to take place in stages. Certainly, you can't get the scale of this from this picture, but it would have to be done in stages. And we'd be looking at the far left to begin. That would be known as K1. We think there's significant opportunities for investment there and continue to provide for our city residents and their loved ones. Again, happy to answer any questions, and Mr. Morgan is here today to assist. And then the last one is $60,000 for some technology upgrades to our systems that can assist with the IT department and improve our systems that we routinely include in any capital plan to provide some flexibility for some work there. Again, very happy, Mr. Chairman, to answer any questions, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Questions from the committee. Councilor Turco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Chairman, is there any objection to holding this over till the June 24th when we do the budget so that we kind of know where we are? I think we're all hearing about, shortfalls at the schools and some other issues. I'm just wondering, before I make a vote on these things, if there's something more pressing that Let me preface this. I know that the roof needs to get done at the Council on Aging, so, but obviously you'd rather do this in one bond. Does 4 weeks set us back on any of this?
Oh, I'd very much like to move forward with the vote today so we can move forward with the Council on Aging project, which we're trying to meet some deadlines, as well as I think the need for the cruisers and the stump grinder of importance, and we like to move forward on those as well. I would hope that we can move forward with this project, as well as Ross Park, which we're hoping to have installed later in June.
Okay, so through you, Mr. Chairman, to the mayor, I mean, the problem I have with it is that I've advocated for all of these things personally before I knew of any major, budgetary issues. The problem I have is, do I support this and then find out that I haven't even looked at the budget that we're going to get in 2 weeks. I get it, we need all of this stuff, but at what expense, or what do we lose in the meantime? It just seems like something I want to take into consideration. To put it plainly, again, this isn't a budget hearing, but the school committee just made some drastic cuts. I'd like to see if there's some other ways that we can resolve those things before we spend an additional penny. And I had heard that you had a hiring freeze or spending freeze throughout your budgetary department, even your departments, which, if that's true, that's great. I just don't see why we can't wait 4 weeks to see if there's anything dire that we may need to address before addressing some of these. And, again, there's a couple on here that I do understand to get done, but some maybe not. And I guess I'll leave that up to the will of the council. I don't think that I could support it tonight, because I would like to wait till the 24th, and when we do the city and the school budgets, make that decision on that same night. And that makes sense to me.
Councilor Turco, I'm not sure this would fully address your concern, but would it be helpful if we asked the Director of Finance to come up and give us some sense of what this would add to the annual debt service? Just because, we're not actually voting on an annual, something that's going to hit us all at once here. This is going to be paid for over time, as you're well aware. So would that be helpful at all?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that was a question that I was going to ask Mr. Gingrich also, is what the proposed cost of this. Seems to be one of our smaller bond orders, so I didn't have an immediate concern, Mayor. I just, like I said, I don't want to be put in a predicament in 3 weeks where I have to I cut a job or something that's very important to the city because of costs that I could have maybe considered now. That's really my only concern. So, yes, through you, Mr. Chairman, if I could ask Mr. Gingrich that question.
Mr. Gingras.
Okay, two things. By approving and authorizing the bond, it's an appropriation. It wouldn't be funded until FY '26 during that period of time, and the actual debt service wouldn't come due until July in FY '27. So the actual payments of these funds would be pushed out a while. And ballpark, about 300,000-ish debt service.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Gingrich, 300,000 per year on the debt.
This debt service is going to be broken up into different useful lives. Some will be 20 years, some will be 5 years, some will be somewhere in between. And that'll dictate what the actual payments are.
Okay, thank you.
Are you set, Councilor Turco?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm all set. I still am in that quandary of I don't know where we're going to be in 4 weeks. Like I said, through nobody's fault, I just would like to see the budget to see in good conscience that I'm not supporting some of these items and then cutting essential personnel or you understand the predicament I'm in, and
I most certainly do.
This is the first year in 10 years that I've had to face this, so I'm just kind of being on the cautious side of this. And you know, we've had a pretty good run, you know, in the city, and I think all of us are facing, the school committee, I just watched them face some and the mayor, some very difficult decisions. We're going to face those also, and no offense to the police department, but if I had to cut a vehicle for the 5 vehicles average to $86,000 a vehicle. Obviously, the DPS vehicles are a little bit more. If I had to cut a DPS vehicle for $86,000 or $100,000, I would cut it to save a position. So that's where I am. I just wonder if we should hold off on this for 4 weeks. And that's where I stand. I'm in favor of holding off on it. Thank you.
Thank you,
Well, again,
Council.
this wouldn't take a financial hit until the next fiscal year. And I just want to make sure the police vehicles are 4 at $65,000 apiece, total of $260,000.
Thank you, Council Turco. Council Gamache.
Yeah, since we're, since we're looking at the police cruisers, they're in tough shape. I know some of them, you can see the ground through the floors, and we definitely need them. But in fairness to Councilor Turco's question, a lot of these things are going to hopefully be done, especially the roof. When is the roof, do they anticipate the roof to be done? Through you to the mayor.
We're hoping that will be done later this calendar year. Into the winter, early next year.
So if we're looking at construction season, if you lose a month, it kind of delays everything into the winter season, further into the winter season. And that, to me, is a much needed improvement to save the rest of the building. So, again, this is not going to be out of our budget until the 2027 year. So I think it's imperative that we move on this evening and get it advertised and get everything together to move forward. So I would recommend that we do this evening. Thank you.
Council Peach.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to either the mayor or Mr. Jagers, just looking at the breakdown for the cemetery expansion, I mean, you said it was going to be done in stages. It's a very large area, obviously. How does it work? I don't know how the accounts work, but when people buy those lots, are we able to take those funds and dedicate it to this or use them somehow? Like, I don't know how the finances
For the
work.
debt
Obviously,
service payment?
yes, we charge for the cemetery plots, so I assume with how big that is, we're gonna get a lot more than $200,000 for those lots, all in all. But if that could be used to pay this off, at least that's $200,000. That's
Yes.
kind of out of our pocket. It's a small in comparison to everything, but
Yes, this investment would be profitable for the city in the long term, and I would expect that the portion for this particular $200,000 over time would be paid out of the cemetery funds for the debt service moving forward.
thank you. And in regards to Councilor Turco's point, I understand it. I also understand that we're kind of kicking the can, paying for these things. I think we all do it in our personal finance life as well. I'm going to support moving forward with this specifically because of the roof replacement, which has been on hold for a very long time at the senior center. I understand your point, Councilor Turco. I do think we're going to have a very hard budget session coming up. But I think the capital project plan, and I know we've asked for this several times, and I'm not on this committee, so I can't make a motion, but if we can, through you, Mr. Chairman, to the mayor, if in the budget presentation we can have a breakdown of our capital bond project, our payoff, and where we stand with everything that's been approved by the council. We have a lot of things that we continue to bond for. I know things fall off, but if we can have a full breakdown of what that looks like, maybe with a 10, 15-year projection so that we know as we continue to bond out for things, especially with the high school coming up, where we're going to stand and what impact that's going to have on our, our debt service going forward.
I think that's a great suggestion. We can provide that information. And I did want to state, and I understand the request. However, I can say that the amount of requests from the different departments was a lot more than 2.35 million. We were very careful in what we selected. It was based on a lot of projects that we're trying to move forward and work that we need to move forward with pretty quickly. But the requests, Mike Gingras and Mary Martin and I and others, had to not move forward with a lot of requests because of the concerns about future, and we had to hold off on a number of items. These were one that we thought would have a great benefit, would pay off in many respects, and could be supplemented through some other funds in the future for debt service. So we were very careful and very just extremely cognizant of where we are financially and where we are with the budget when we made these selections to move these forward. It was a pretty lengthy process deciding which project, which items we needed to move forward on, and there were a lot of requests that were denied.
I'm all set, thank you.
Thank you, Council Peach. Council Manning Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Councilor Turco, I appreciate your concerns and expressing them, and I look forward to sharing the same sentiment as we move forward into the budget. These requests here I don't find superfluous, as the mayor has just noted that that they went through it, not putting forward things that were extras, because these clearly aren't. These are things that we need. So I can support this with the caveat that the budget that is put before us follows that same routine, that only things that are absolutely necessary going forward are presented to us in the budget, because it is going to be difficult, and it's not going to be pretty, but we are going to have to make some very difficult decisions. So I will join you in doing that, Councilor Turco, but these, again, I don't find superfluous. They're needs that the entire city in essential services really need. So I will be supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Manning Martin. Council Weldon.
Thank you, Chairman McGinn. I'm not on this committee, so I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak. Just had a couple questions. First one for you, Mayor Betancourt, on the playground. It references projects are designed to meet ASTM 1487. I'm guessing that's the accessibility component of it. I know when we last met, you had mentioned that these would be accessible. So I think that's kind of what we're talking about, right?
Yes, that a big part of the selection we made was ensuring that this was of the most accessible structures available to everybody, understanding the spirit of that park, and we felt that this was that was an important component to the selection.
Great. And then it looks great, obviously, the accessibility piece of it, where the surface is correct for citizens who utilize wheelchairs. I'm just wondering, I know with the first iteration of this park, the Barrett family, the Bruzzese family, they were very involved in kind of selection of some of the items and things like that. I'm just curious, do we have like some of the families that might utilize this weigh in on kind of what their children may like to have in a park setting?
I was just with one of those families right before coming here over at Peabody Veterans Memorial High School, and yes, there was, I don't want to say specifically who we spoke to, but there were a number of people consulted.
Awesome. Great. I think that's one. And the last question on the playground is, are we getting any private funding for this? I know sometimes there's grants that are available.
Yes, we've received a number of donations. Salem Country Club recently made a large donation. A number of other companies have put forward as well. So we felt, in after consultation with the Community Preservation Commission and others, that we needed to reach out and do some fundraising efforts privately, and we've been able to do that and have had some success.
Great. Oh, I look forward to it. It looks really nice. I'm glad that the families were involved too. So that's great. My next question is for Chief Griffin, if you don't mind, regarding the vehicles. Thank you, Mayor Betancourt. Hello, Chief. Sorry to make you walk all the way up. I just had a couple questions on the vehicles. So I believe there's 5 cruisers that are up for
This bond order is for 4.
4?
We have one that's already on the way from this previous year.
Okay. So my question to you is, I know we're trying to scrimp and save wherever we can, but is that adequate? You know, I know a lot of these cruisers are in pretty rough disrepair, and I just want to make sure if we're bonding for it, maybe we just get it out of the way. If we need more, we need more, but kind of defer to you for guidance on that.
Well, I think we're going to evaluate it once we get the vehicles, and then if we do have some seizure funds that we might be able to work out to add to this. So I think we should be all right.
Okay. I don't think it much matters at this point anyway, because we're bonding for it again anyway, but I thought when we had the chance to do the bonding for the public safety building, it maybe could have been a good strategy to put the vehicles in there also, but I think that ship has sailed, so we're catching up. I guess I just want to say, obviously, I want to be supportive of the vehicles that are needed for the police department. I'd like to make sure it's enough, and that next year it's not a huge request. So if we got to kind of catch up, I'd rather just have a better snapshot of where we are with it. That's all.
Okay.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Weldon. Councilor Daigle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not on the committee, but thank you for allowing me to speak. And a lot of my colleagues have beat me to this, but if you spend enough time at the Council on Aging, I think we know that roof repair is long overdue. And I certainly appreciate Councilor Turco, and this is not a fun budget year, but I think that's important. I think all of these things are important, and that's being on the streets. This is what I hear a lot about, so I would like to, I won't vote on the committee, but as a whole, support all of this with the Council on Aging. As far as the vehicles, thank you, Councilor Welton, you touched on it. I'm told by some of the patrolmen that they used to get 5 new fleet cars a year, and I think we're catching up with that. It's great that we're having a new public safety station, but we also have to keep up with the vehicles that the men and women are driving in every day. And the park improvements, not a priority. Desmond Daigle would not be happy if that doesn't move forward, because he goes there every week. But my only other question, I think Councilor Peach touched upon, is the cemetery expansion. Is there a separate fund, this is through you to the mayor or to Mr. Gingras, is there a cemetery fund that can cover that 200 grand, or are we totally relying on capital for that?
Mr. Gingras.
There are cemetery funds, sale of lots, and interest related to that, and a perpetual care fund. But the intention of those is for, not for expansion, but for ongoing maintenance and providing for the cemetery, basically maintenance and operations.
Thank you, Mr. Gingras. Yeah, I pardon the pun, this is something everyone's dying to get into, and I know we're running out of lots, so I think this is important. I met with my dad trying to find some lots, and they're almost all out, and that's a beautiful cemetery, so I can support that expansion if we don't have alternative funds. So I'm happy to move forward with all of this tonight. Thank you.
Council, that was a terrible pun. Terrible.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Councilor Daigle. Any other, Councilor Gould?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very brief. Mr. Mayor, thank you for continuing to make inclusiveness a key platform of your administration. We have a number of children that take advantage of the Adventures for Angels playground, and I just want to commend you for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Councilor Gould. Councilor Turco, did you want to, you had your hand up earlier, did you?
No, actually, I was just going to thank Council Manning for her words. I still have reservations about this. It looks like it's going to pass. And many of these things, in all honesty, I've spoken to the mayor about adding the stump grinder and the police cruisers and some other things. So I will support this, but much to what Council Manning said, you know, I would expect the same when we move forward in 3 weeks on this budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Turco. Mr. Mayor, I think you said you agreed with the suggestion to have the capital schedule included with the budget package. Can we just, we won't make that a formal motion, but Mr. Gingras can make sure that that happens.
Can you just clarify what the motion is?
It's not a motion, it's just, it was a request to include with the budget package a capital schedule, just so that we see where the...
Okay. Yep.
Okay. We've seen those in the past, but we haven't seen one in a while, to the best of my recollection.
Yep, we're in agreement with that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
What is the will of the committee? Councilor Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to move forward, and I'll read the language. Peabody City Council, City of Peabody, Massachusetts, bond order for the city capital projects. Be it ordered by the City Council of the City of Peabody that the City of Peabody appropriate the amount of $2,350,000 to pay for the costs of the following projects, including the payment of any costs incidental or related thereto. Roof replacement. Would you like individual reading? Okay. Roof replacement, $950,000. Vehicles, $515,000. Park improvements, $210,000. Equipment, $80,000. Building improvements and mechanical upgrades, $335,000. Cemetery expansion, $200,000. Technology upgrades, $60,000 for a total of $2,350,000. It is further ordered that to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow in said amount under Chapter 44 of the general laws of or any other enabling authority, that the treasurer, mayor, and other city official is authorized to take actions necessary or convenient to carry out the purpose of this order, and that this order be advertised as read. It is further ordered that the treasurer is authorized to file an application with the appropriate officials of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, parentheses, the Commonwealth, to qualify under Chapter 44A of the general laws, any and all bonds of the city authorized to be borrowed pursuant to this loan order, and to provide such information and execute such documents as such officials of the Commonwealth may require in connection therewith. So move, Mr. Chairman.
So the motion is to, Councilor Gould, is to advertise as read.
Correct. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilors, you heard the motion by Councilor Gould, motion to advertise as read on the motion. Seeing none, roll call.
Councilors Turco,
Yes.
Gould,
Yes.
Gamache.
Yes.
Manning Martin, McGinn.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Councilor.
Next item on the agenda is proposed compensation increases for poll workers. And this came to the committee in the form of a letter from our clerk, Allison Danforth, dated May 1st. In consultation with Ms. Danforth, she believes that the letter speaks for itself. I think everybody's had an opportunity to look at it at this point. She is requesting increases for various responsibilities at the polls. Do we have any questions from the committee or other councilors on this matter? No questions. Councilor Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to read the ordinance amendment Peabody City Council, an ordinance amending the ordinance establishing a classification and compensation plan for the city officers and employees of the Code of the City of Peabody. Be it ordained by the City Council or of the City of Peabody as follows. Section 1, that the Code of the City of Peabody adopted on January 23rd, 1969 as amended for Section 18-20, Paragraph 15, Schedule of Compensation for part-time positions is hereby further amended as follows by deleting the following. Section 18-20, Paragraph 15, Schedule compensation for part-time positions. 16C, Clerk, $225 daily. 16G, Deputy Clerk, $200 daily. 16H, Deputy Warren, $200 daily. 16I, Inspector Precinct, $15 daily, $150 daily, excuse me. 16M, Warden, $225,000 daily, $225 daily, excuse me. 16L, Tab Clerk Precinct, $75 daily. 16K, Tab Clerk Citywide, $150 daily. 16N, Precinct Assistant, $160 daily, and inserting in place thereof the following. Section 18-20, Schedule of Compensation for part-time positions. 16C, Clerk, $275 daily. 16G, Deputy Clerk, $250 daily. 16H, Deputy Warren, $250 daily. 16I, Inspector Precinct, $225 daily. 16M, Warden, $275 daily. 16L, Tab Clerk Precinct, $75 daily. 16K, Tab Clerk Citywide, $250 daily. 16N, Precinct Assistant, $235 daily. Section 2, all ordinances or parts of ordinances inconsistent therewith are hereby repealed. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by law. So move, Mr. Chairman.
So, Councilor Gould, that motion is to advertise as read.
Advertises. Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So
Councilors,
moved.
you heard the motion from Councilor Gould to advertise as read on the motion. Seeing none, roll call.
Councilors Turco,
Yes.
Gould.
Yes.
Gamache.
Yes.
Manning Martin. McGinn.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
This time I'd accept the motion to adjourn. You heard the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? As a vote, we are adjourned.